Welcome to Water and Ice Outdoors, and today this video is the start of a new series that I'm doing called Bass 101. And for most of my subscribers, you probably are already going to know this stuff, but it's pretty much your beginning bass technique. So today we're going to start it off with the Texas rig. It's one of the most versatile baits and lures to use. Let's get into it. As I mentioned in the intro, the Texas rig is one of the most versatile options that a bass fisherman can have. It's weedless. You can fish it deep, you can fish it shallow, and you can fish it around structure. It's a simple rig, but we're going to go through all the different tackle that you need, and then we're going to go through plastics that will work with it, and also I will show you some clips that I have catching bass on the Texas rig. Okay, so this is the Texas rig, and this has a rage bug attached to it. All it is a bullet sinker, a worm hook or an extra wide gap EWG hook, and then your plastic. Now some people will peg their sinker. I like to use a bobber stop. These little rubber bobber stops are super cheap, and they just slide right onto your line. And the peg, the only thing different is the peg slides into your sinker right in the hole there where the line goes through. And all it does, the only point, is to keep your sinker from moving a ton. And I like to do it because I don't like my sinker going all the way up my line, but that's totally personal preference. So bullet sinker, EWG hook, and plastic. That's all you need. All right, guys, when it comes to rigging, it's pretty simple. You've got your EWG hook here, your worm hook. All you're gonna do is take your plastic, and I'll show this with a worm as well. This is a rage bug craw type trailer. But you're gonna insert the point of the hook into the head of your plastic, whether it's a worm or a crawfish, and I go about 1/4 to 1/2 an inch in. And then you're going to pull it out the bottom, just like that. Slide it all the way up to the eye of the hook. So it's like this. Then you're going to hook it through the bottom of the bait, so it comes out the top like so. And you want to make sure it's in line with the point of the hook and the eye of the hook. You can see it kind of forms a line. You want your plastic in line with that. And then the last thing I do is I bury that hook point. So that's how you rig a craw trailer Texas rig. Now you can see it's in line with the hook point and the bend of the eye, and everything's in line. Appendages can move freely, and the point is in the plastic. You buried it, so it's nice and weedless. It's ready for docks, it's ready for shoreline timber, rocks, anything. You won't get caught up in this. Okay, next we've got a Yum Dinger here. Super classic worm plastic, same as the craw. You're going to hook it in the head, just like so. As I said, I go in about 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch. Pull it through and around, sliding it up to the eye of the hook and over this bend right here. Then, just like we did with the craw, we go through the bottom of the lure, out the top. So it comes through just like that. You can see the hook point is out, and then the last thing we do is bury the point to make it weedless. Now you have your Texas rig worm. End of the worm can undulate however it likes, just like that, and you're ready to go. This is an excellent deep presentation along weed lines. It's an excellent dock presentation, and you can upsize the worm or the craw trailer, and we'll get into that now. All right, so let's talk about trailers for the Texas rig. Now, I'd say probably 95% of the time when I'm fishing shallow, I have some type of craw trailer on. Now, this is a rage bug. If you've watched any of my videos, you know how much I love this plastic. It's got 4 main appendages and the 2 antenna type appendages there. They all undulate like crazy. It's nice and soft. It's fairly durable. Not the best, but fairly durable. And for shallow cover, this is easily my favorite. The next thing in the shallow cover I'm going to use is your typical stick bait. Now, this is your Yum Dinger 5-inch. I will upsize at times. This is a Yum Genie. I have no affiliation with Yum. These are just some of the worms that I've found to really work well. And when you want that bigger bite, I like to upsize to this Yum Genie. I believe it's a 7-inch, and it's got that little beaver tail at the end of it too, just for a little more action. And I really love throwing that in shallow cover. But anything that's a worm, anything that's a lizard or creature bait is gonna work Texas rigged in shallow cover. Now, when I'm fishing deep, on a deep weed edge is typically where I'm throwing Texas rig, or rock as well. I like to throw a little bit bigger profile. Now, this is a power worm from Berkeley, and this is actually a smaller one than I typically like to use. I usually like to use the 8-inch, but I really like the ribbon tail because it gives it a lot of extra action. But also this Yum Genie I will throw also, and just your regular plastic worm works fantastic. And again, throwing deep, you let it fall, cast it out, let it fall on slack line, and then just lift it up and let it fall down. Lift it up, let it fall down. You can twitch it a few times and just wait to see your line twitch. I like leaving a bow in my line, and when you see that line jump, set the hook, because that's a fish. Now, for gear, when I'm pitching or flipping to docks or shallow structure, I'm using a little shorter rod than I would for when I'm out deep. I'm using a 611, and it's a medium heavy with a nice fast tip, so I can just yank fish out of that cover. I like the shorter rod because I'm a little more accurate casting, so I can get it, under the dock. I can skip it a little easier. I can fit it into little holes in a down tree. I'm just a little more comfortable with that short rod. Now, when I'm fishing out deep, I'm using a 7.2 medium heavy as well, fast tip. So just the length difference is my only difference in setup. Reel, I'm using a Tatula CT. Any reel will do. I'm bait casting these though, and I'm using a fast gear ratio. So I have I believe both of my setups are on an 8-to-1, because when you do get a bite, I like to reel down and then set the hook. So the faster I can reel down and jack them, it's a lot easier. And especially in shallow cover, you want that high ratio so that you can pull fish out of that cover easily. So if you've got a slower gear ratio, it's going to take you longer to reel a fish out of that cover than it would with a faster gear ratio. Now, for line, I strictly use fluorocarbon. I'm not a huge fluorocarbon guy. It's about one of the only techniques that I use straight fluoro for. But if you're using braid, especially shallow, that braid cuts easily on wood, on rocks, on dock pilings. It can fray when it rubs against that stuff, and then your line is compromised and you'll have a lot of breakoffs. Fluorocarbon is much less nick or cut resistant, so that's why I use fluorocarbon. And I use 15 to 20 pound Seagar and Vizex, 15 to 20 pound fluorocarbon. Any brand is going to do well. Just make sure you don't skimp on the price. I know fluorocarbon's expensive, but the more money you spend on it, the more manageable that fluorocarbon's going to be. So that's some basic points on the Texas rig. That should get you started if you have never done it before. Went over the gear, went over hooks, sinkers. Actually, I didn't go over the sinkers. I usually use a 1/8 ounce tungsten bullet weight, and you can go up to a 1/4 ounce if you've got a little heavier cover you're going into, or even a 1/2 ounce if you're really flipping into some heavy stuff. Now I'll run some clips from some of my previous videos. that's the Texas rig, guys. If you've never thrown it before and you're looking for tips, I hope that helps you. Get out there and try it. And if you don't get bites or don't feel comfortable, don't quit using it. That first time you get a bite and jack a fish and you feel it and really know what to look for when they bite, it's gonna open up a whole new world of fishing for you. And you can fish anywhere on the lake with this setup.
Oh, we're recording, guys. I am so happy about that because we got a nice smallie on here. From in the bush. I got you. Yeah, buddy. There we go, guys. It's about a 2-pounder. Nothing special. Rage bug, first. Bass of the year. Gotta love it. Never felt a tap. Just kind of saw my line going off with it. So nice start to the year. Gotta be happy with that.
Oh, good one. Oh, good one, guys. Oh yeah. Okay, that'll make your day. Come here, bud. That's what I'm talking about. That's whew. Oh baby. Well, guys, that'll save your day. Frog bite wasn't working, so we went to Texas rig Rage Bug with a Woo Tungsten 1/8 ounce bullet weight, and we cracked them. Hope you learned something in this video, guys. If you liked it, please click that thumbs up and the subscribe button if you haven't yet. And look out for some more of these Bass 101 videos that I'm going to be coming out with. We're going to be going over fishing knots, other lures, other techniques, and hopefully you guys will like what I'm doing here and get something out of it. So thanks for watching Water and Ice Outdoors. We'll see you next time.